Well, hello there, Libra. It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are doing your mid-May general tarot reading. This is good for the next 4 or 5 weeks, so from now until about mid-June. We'll take a look at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details about any obstacles on your path or advice that Spirit has for you. And Libra, if you're enjoying the content that I create, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, let's get into it. Let's see what we have. Box Spirit, think on your feet. Okay, I'm finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. Okay, so, you know, to me, this is a little bit of two different situations. Or the same situation, but that it needs perhaps a little bit of a different approach, because thinking on your feet means something's coming in quickly. You're going to have to make a quick decision about something, right? Or it's a conversation that comes in out of the blue, you know, that type of thing. And then this is taking time to contemplate how you want to proceed, either in this situation or this relationship, this conversation, right? And I feel as if, you know, there's almost an energy of two different things coming towards you. One is something that you have to, you're going to almost react to, or it's going to put you in an energy where you're going to want to react, okay? And then the other one is kind of like a contemplation of how you want to proceed. And I think that this situation may come in first, but there's almost like a message here to kind of like think about a situation. I feel like you know what this situation may have something to do about, right? It's almost like intuitively, you know that something is shifting in your life, and it's kind of like trying to figure out, okay, what is it that I want in this situation? You know, what's the outcome I would like? What is my heart desiring in this situation? You know, you know, this is the number 27, which reduced is a 9. I feel that this is a situation that has been really kind of long and tedious, filled with perhaps a lot of anxiety for you, because Libra, you are the peacemaker, right? You like peace, you like harmony. And I think that this is a situation, I almost want to say that it's a situation where you kind of like almost feel like you're walking on eggshells, right? It's one of those situations where it could be a family member, it could be a loved one, it could be a romantic partner, it could be your boss, a coworker, a neighbor, right? And you just feel like whenever you're around this person, you have to walk on eggshells. And I think that there is something brewing there. I think you know that there's something brewing there, and it's trying to kind of connect to what it is that you truly want, because I feel like you have been trying to appease this person or keep them happy enough that it doesn't all blow up in your face. And I think it's time that you're going to have to take action. Yeah. You're going to have to take steps. I think for some of you, I think you're moving away. You could be, you know, if it's a romantic partner, you could be moving, separating, right? If it's somebody that you work with, you may be asking to move to a different department. You may be wanting to change jobs. You know, if it's a family member, you know, you may be distancing yourself either mentally, emotionally, or physically from this person, because there's something else. You recognize that this person, this situation is really holding you back from what it is that you truly want. Now, for some of you, it could be that there's almost an energy of wanting to return to something that you had, you know, wanting to move back to something. That's not going to be for all of you, but say you had a situation in the past, and it does not have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a job. It could be a city that you lived in. It could be anything, okay? But it's almost as if you're understanding that where you what the grass is not greener on the other side. That is that's the message. Thank you. That is the message. You have learned that the grass is not greener on the other side in some situation. So it's about recognizing, okay, going within, accepting the fact that you've chosen to go in a certain direction, whether that is in a job, in a home, in a relationship. It's almost like it does not matter. Whatever this is, you thought it was going to work out in a certain way, and it hasn't. It's caused you a lot of anxiety. You know, it could be, you know, you thought you were taking a new job and you were going to have a lot of autonomy in it. And now you're recognizing, no, I'm working late hours and I'm making less money. And I thought I was going to make more money and I was going to have this sense of fulfillment, and I don't have it, right? It's understanding that maybe you have been brushing something underneath the rug for a while, not wanting to come to terms with it, and realizing that there is no more brushing it under the rug. You know, it's time to deal with this situation. It's time to look at it head on and not be fearful of the outcome, because I think what you are fearing, what you are actually fearing, is worse than what is going to happen if you move forward. And I think it's because you made a decision to perhaps get into this situation or relationship, and now you want out, okay? Or you want to go back to the job you had or something like that, right? It's almost like you want to go back to a life that you had before, right? You could have wanted to go out on your own and start your own business. Now you're realizing, oh my goodness, this is so much work. I want to go back and have a job, right? That somebody else has to worry about where, you know, how to make payroll or something like that. There's a situation here where you're wanting, I feel like you're kind of wanting to return or wanting something back that you had in the past. And once again, I'm not saying the entire situation, but something that's similar to it. And you're kind of afraid. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, you know, trust in divine purpose. You know, this experience has divine meaning. Healing will come. Know that you are on a path of growth. Understanding that this is not a waste of time. That's important. Understanding that this is helping you to see your way forward, to get inspired about where you want to go next. You're kind of waiting. You're putting it on hold because you're the Fool card. It's time to go in a new direction. But I think you're holding, you're in a holding pattern, okay? And you're in a holding pattern because there's something that you have to say or something that you have to do that's making you uncomfortable, okay? But you have to get through this in order to get to the other side. You know, it's kind of, I had this job once, and I was a teenager, maybe I was in college. I had this job and I wanted to quit. Okay, it had horrendous hours, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. But the owner of the store that I worked in had been really, really good to me, you know. And so I knew that it was going to, I had stayed so long, okay? I had stayed past the time that I really should have stayed, but because he had been so good to me, I felt like, oh, I have to, you know, I have to stay here. But then it was kind of like, I just realized, you know, I have to have this conversation. I have to say, oh, I got to go in a different direction, you know. And I knew he was going to be upset because you know, he had put himself out on a limb for me. And so you know, there was that energy where I was trying to pay back, but at a certain point I realized, oh, this is not working, right? This is not working. And the conversation actually went better than I thought it would. I was disappointed, but I dreaded that conversation. Once I had the conversation, it was like, phew, all the anxiety, the burden, the walking on the eggshells, you know, the whole thing, it just went away, you know, immediately. And yet at the same time, I had dreaded that conversation. I feel like there's some conversation that you need to have with someone here. It's kind of like that energy of clearing the air with somebody, right? Whether you want to go in a different direction, you've changed your mind about something, you know, and it's kind of like, okay, this really isn't what I want, but it's kind of like you haven't been telling them, and it's kind of like you're having to walk on eggshells, you know. It's kind of like, that's why I finally said to my boss, I have to get out of this, because he was already, you know, scheduling me for the whole summer, and I was like, oh, you know, he's got to find somebody else. I think that it's something like that, and you're just such an empath, Libra, right? You really care about other people, how this change is going to affect other people, perhaps even financially or something like that, and you're concerned about that. You're also concerned about this conflict, this conversation, the step that you have to take in order to get to the other side. Okay, so let's take a look at your present energy. Yeah, recognize the signs from above. Angels are sending you messages now, but you're too distracted to notice. Stay alert and open to divine guidance. I think you know intuitively that this has to go. You may be trying to talk yourself into believing, no, everything's fine, because you like harmony and peace, right? You don't want to have this conflict. You don't want to have this conversation that could turn into a, you know, an argument or something like that. But your angels are letting you know that they're on your side, that it is time, whatever the situation is, it's time to address it. You know, and it doesn't mean that you actually have to leave the relationship. There could be something that that person is doing, or something that has come up in your relationship that you're just kind of like not dealing with, and it's time to deal with it, you know, because it's going to take courage to break the status quo. Whatever is going on in this situation, right, is not going to change. You can't go in a new direction, whether you want to do it with this person or you want to just go out on your own in a different direction. There's something that you have to address here. And if you don't address it, right, then you know that you know, you're just going to get more of the same. Let's put it that way. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, you have conflict. The conflict is preventing you, okay, from the happiness and joy that you are wanting. This is all this. Yeah, I feel like you are feeling like this person, I honestly and truly believe that the person that you're dealing with does not know how you feel in this situation. You could be even putting on a smiley face. You could be still offering them love and happiness and joy, right? And yet at the same time, in your head, you're kind of like, how can I do this any longer? How do I get myself out of this? When are they going to recognize my body language? You know, I think the person that you're dealing with doesn't see that, or doesn't want to see that. But look, there's an apology. There's kind of an offering of love. It's time to decide what it is that you truly want. And I feel like you want, you know, something to either last, you know, for a long time, 10 of Pentacles, or you want something to be a long-term committed relationship. But there's a burden. Yeah, that has to be dropped. And if you do not make the move, then what happens is the Tower comes in to make this move. That is part of this energy, is understanding that if you don't take steps, right? You have the taking steps. If you don't take steps, then what's going to happen is that there is going to be this blow up, and the Tower will come in, you know? So it's kind of like, almost like, your angels are giving you these signs. It's time to take action in this situation. It's time to speak your piece. It's time to tell your truth. So let's see what your obstacle is, or your area of resistance. Yeah, your prayers are being answered. So I feel like for some of you, you feel like you're praying to your angels. Oh, I can so resonate with that. Praying to your angels, please take care of this situation. I don't want to have this conversation, right? That reminds me, I've had a couple of times like that in my life, you know, where it's kind of like, oh, will this please just go away, right? But you're hiding your true self in this situation. Okay, you're hiding yourself, you're hiding your true feelings, you're hiding your truth from this person, because you're trying to appease them. You're trying to keep everybody happy. And for what? You know, that's the question to ask yourself. Why? Why are you doing that? You know, what is your biggest fear? Your biggest fear may be that this person will want to leave your life, or, you know, you'll have to deal with a difficult conversation, you know. Yeah, I think for some of you, it could be either with a spouse or a boss or a father figure. And it's time to go in your own path. And once again, it does not mean that you have to leave this relationship, but you have to do it your way. There has to be some compromise. There has to be a clearing of the air. There has to be a balancing out in this situation. Yeah, because I think you're ready to walk away towards what is your Nine of Cups, right? You're getting close to that of just saying, okay, I got to cut and run. But I don't think you really want to cut and run yet. You know, it's almost as if I think there's part of you that really wants this situation to work out, but you're just afraid of what is between now and it working out, what that looks like, what that conversation is like. It's almost an energy, a little bit of, you know, a child having to tell their parents that they flunked a science test at school or something, and knowing that, you know, there's going to be some type of, you know, consequence because of it. And it's kind of like, I taught fourth grade for years, and sometimes I could tell when children were really afraid of telling their parents about, a bad grade, right? And sometimes they would forge their signature, the parent's signature, or something like that. And it is, one of those situations where it's a great learning experience for a child and for parents about how to handle situations like that, and sometimes I would even try to intervene a little bit, sending the parent an email, up front a little bit about the situation. But it's kind of like, it's almost that type of energy. And you're not a child, Libra, right? But there's that energy where you're really concerned about the consequence, concerned that somebody's going to reject you, abandon you, leave you, and asking yourself, okay, do I want to live in fear that this person is going to leave, right? Do I always want to live in that fear? Or am I willing to speak up my truth and face what may come because of that? Find more balance in this relationship instead of, because I feel like you're overgiving in this situation in order to keep this person happy. Okay, so let's take a look at your advice. Yeah, this is a learning experience for you. So you have the Page of Pentacles, understanding that this is a learning experience for you. Prioritizing what you deserve and taking good care of yourself. I think you are really and truly overgiving to this situation. Even just walking on eggshells means that you're giving this person more, more love, respect, credence than you are giving to yourself. And it's time to take that back. It's time to look at that closely. Yes. Yeah. And I do. I mean, you have the Ten of Pentacles. The thing is that I think when you approach this situation, if you go within and approach this situation in a loving way, right? You are going to be inspired or inspire this person to kind of come and work on the situation and have the Ten of Cups, the happiness, the fulfillment, the joy, the abundance in the situation. Even if it's a work situation, I feel like you're being inspired to go after what it is that you truly want, whether it is with this person or not. I think you're willing to have the courage to have this conversation, to speak up, to speak your truth, to no longer hide, to not pretend everything is okay when it's not. And when you step into that energy, I think you're ready for whatever is on the other side of that, because you know that when you drop this burden, when you speak your truth, you're no longer going to be blocking your own happiness. Yeah, Two of Cups underneath that. I think you're actually blocking the happiness that might even be in this situation because you're not speaking your truth. You're not being your true, authentic self in order to try to keep this situation together. It's time to understand that when you step into your true, authentic self, then you also allow the other person to truly love who you are. And if they don't, then asking yourself, why do you want to be in this situation or relationship if they're not accepting you for who you truly are? Yeah, really beautiful. I do feel like there is a little bit of energy of understanding that this person, I think there is a little bit that this person does not really realize how you feel in this situation because you're masking, okay, how you truly feel. And I'm just saying that, Libra, because I feel like when this person, you have this conversation with this person, they may be a little bit shocked by what you have to share, right? And you may be kind of like, I've had one of those conversations too, and it's kind of like, you know, the person could be like, what? I had no idea, right? And you may be, well, how could you not know how I feel? Because you know how you feel, but I do feel like you have been masking your feelings. Whether you realize it or not, you have truly been masking your feelings. This person does not know. I truly feel like this person does not know how you feel. And even if you have shared some of your feelings, Libra, okay, you could be sitting there, well, I've told them X, Y, and Z, okay, but you didn't tell them all the other things, okay? There's something that they don't understand. And so it's about just having that conversation, understanding. I do feel like for a lot of you, this situation can work out if you want it to work out. But if you're ready to leave, then I think it's time to take those steps and to move on to what it is that your heart truly desires. Okay, let's pull a soul truth card for you. And Libra, I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. How can I be more kind to myself and offer more grace in this very moment? Yeah, that's what this is all about, right? Is understanding it's time to allow your own love and light, your truth in this situation to shine through. That when we hold back our truth from people that we're truly connected to, whether it's through work or a family relationship or a romance, right? When we hold back who we truly are, we're not shining our true authentic self. And that is actually detrimental to ourselves, right? We're portraying a version of ourselves that is not really true. And that is putting other people on a higher priority than ourselves. It's not respecting and loving ourselves. And it's time to just step back into that energy of recognizing, okay, I'm getting back to who I truly am. I am going to share my feelings. And whatever happens, happens. And I think you're okay with that. Growing our self-love is medicine to this world's broken heart. When you heal, we all heal. When you give yourself more grace, you are able to give the world more grace. Yeah, look at yourself with a grace filter. You are meant to be in this moment of your life. And remember, we had that, we had that energy of trust in the divine purpose, knowing that this situation is on your path for a certain reason. Release the inner critic and fill in that hole with your soul's truth, that you are infinite, you are loved, and you are already there. Yeah, beautiful message. To understanding that, when we're in a relationship or a situation, that we're not being authentic to ourselves, is really, we are allowing ourselves to have our light dimmed. It's time to step in and say, you know what? I deserve what my heart truly desires. And I'm willing to go after it. And I'm willing to have the courage to have these conversations. And, it's fine. Spend some time thinking about what it is that you want to say. Gathering your thoughts perhaps before you have this, this conversation, because I do feel like conversation can be a little bit fiery. Okay. And that's okay. That's okay. If you recognize that before you go into it and you come in a calm nature, it will help to kind of keep the conversation more calm. All right, I'm going to leave it there, Libra. I do wish you so much love and light in this situation and in all your situations. Thank you again for supporting my channel through liking, commenting, and subscribing. I really do appreciate you. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.